Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel GMB SHOW. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Langsford's divorce is now at the ugly stage, it has been claimed. According to reports, the GB News presenter, 65, has had a falling out with his eldest son, who is the youngest of his 3 children with his first wife, Gabrielle. It has also been claimed his son sided with Ruth, 65, following the couple's split. In addition, it was claimed Eamonn's relations remain strained with son he shares with Ruth. A source told Mail Online, Eamonn had a massive fallout with son from first marriage. There was a huge row following his split from Ruth. It must be heartbreaking for Eamonn. It was also alleged that he felt his youngest son from his first marriage had sided with Ruth. Eamonn is believed to be upset following the alleged family fallout, and things remain strained with his youngest son he shares with Ruth. Express.co.uk have contacted Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Langsford's representatives for comment. Amy Dowden breaks silence and thanks fans after NTAs. Eamonn has since moved on and is in a new relationship with girlfriend Katie Alexander, who is 22 years his junior. Eamonn's first marriage was to Gabrielle Holmes, whom he married in 1985. They were married for 10 years and have 3 children together. The marriage ended due to the strain of Eamonn's demanding GMTV job, which often kept him away from his family in Belfast. He later married Ruth in 2010, and they welcomed son in 2000. The couple have since announced they split, and they are currently in the process of divorce. The London skyline was quiet as the early morning sun bled through the curtains of Eamonn Holmes' apartment. He sat at the kitchen table, a steaming mug of tea cooling in his hands, staring at the headlines splashed across the paper. His face was familiar to millions, but behind the broadcaster's warm smile was a man carrying a weight heavier than any camera lens had ever captured. For years, Eamonn and Ruth Langsford had been the golden couple of daytime television, a duo whose laughter, gentle teasing, and seamless chemistry brightened living rooms across the country. But what the public rarely saw were the cracks forming when the camera switched off. What began as small disagreements about schedules and commitments had gradually widened into an unbridgeable canyon. Now, the family home was quieter. Ruth had chosen to stay in their Surrey house, surrounded by the memories they built together. Eamonn had taken a smaller place closer to central London. The split wasn't just about 2 people, it was about the family unit that once stood so strong. Their son, Jack, caught between his parents' worlds, had tried to remain neutral, but Eamonn felt the strain every time conversations grew shorter, every time silence replaced the warmth they once shared. He replayed the moments in his mind. Ruth's hand slipping from his during an event. The unspoken distance at family dinners. The final evening when she softly said, "We can't keep living like this." It wasn't anger that ended them, it was exhaustion. Years of pressure, public scrutiny, and the demands of 2 high-profile careers had finally taken their toll. Despite the split, Eamonn's love for Ruth hadn't dimmed. He admired her strength, her devotion to their son, and her ability to carry herself with grace, even when the tabloids swirled with gossip. Yet the heartbreak came from knowing love wasn't always enough to hold everything together. On a quiet Sunday, Eamonn flicked through old photographs, holidays in Spain, their wedding day, candid shots of Ruth laughing until tears rolled down her cheeks. He lingered on one photo of them on set, hands clasped under the desk as if the world outside didn't exist. "We were unstoppable then," he whispered to himself. But heartbreak is a peculiar thing. It doesn't demand drama or shouting. For Eamonn, it was the silence that cut deepest. The missing goodnight texts, the empty chair at breakfast, the absence of shared laughter echoing through the halls. Still, he found resilience in his work. Returning to the studio each day, he leaned on the familiar rhythm of broadcasting. The lights, the crew, the buzz of live television, it reminded him of who he was before heartbreak shadowed his days. Colleagues noticed the weariness in his eyes, but they also saw the flicker of determination. In private, Eamonn confessed to friends that the strain of the family split was like nothing he'd faced. But he also held on to hope, not necessarily for reconciliation, but for healing, for rediscovering joy, and for proving that even in heartbreak, life could move forward. And as he closed the album and set down his tea, Eamonn Holmes whispered words only he could hear. "I'll always love her, but now I must learn to love myself again."